Hey there, I'm Tracy Rigdon, and this is the Contrast Project Lounge Podcast. In this podcast, each episode is a journey through captivating interviews, engaging dialogues, and personal anecdotes that explore the depths of arts, culture, politics, and everything in between. My goal? To leave you inspired, informed, and entertained. Often random, but always relevant, always real, and practically nothing is off limits. So whether you're an art aficionado, a political junkie, or simply someone seeking a fresh perspective, this podcast is for you. Are you ready for this? Let's do it. Welcome back to the program. We have with us today the CEO of Puff Mistress Mentionables, Miss Ebonee Williams. Ebonee, the ever lovely Ebonee Williams. Ebonee, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Amazing.
What makes today amazing for you?
Every day is amazing, Tracy. Every day that you are above ground is amazing.
I hear that. I hear that. We were talking before the program here, kids, and I had mentioned to Ebonee that I've had a rough couple of weeks, with my back and everything, and I told her, I said, it's just I'm getting old.
You're getting you getting wiser.
Well, okay, I'll go with that. All right. One thing that our listeners and viewers are going to want to know before we talk about Puff Mistress, who is Ebonee Williams? If you were looking in your, let's say, your mirror's revelation, if you were looking to mirror, could you transport us back to that poignant moment when you looked in that mirror and you felt the stirring emotions, that fueled the birth of Puff Mistress?
Well, that's such a deep question to start with, Tracy.
Cheers.
Okay. That was supposed to be the outro question, okay?
Oh, I got a good one for that one too.
Well, Puff Mistress Mentionables, the lingerie company, actually just came out of prior to it. I had a marijuana accessory brand called the Puff Society, and that kind of failed because I kept having issues with customs. They kept taking my things and asked me to pay for them again. So I had to come up. So I was just sitting thinking about what else could I do? What else could I do? And I thought I like lingerie. Oh, maybe I'll just sell lingerie. So that just kind of came out of the desire to still want to do a business. Puff Mistress, the person, kind of organically formed as I was building the business. It just became more of a thing. I'm a person who hates when people don't feel good about themselves. So it's just kind of organically happened that I could use lingerie to help people feel good about themselves. So
Sure.
it just, I don't know, it just kind of organically happened. Everything just flowed like I was supposed to be doing it.
Now, and if we were talking about you talked about the the actual business and entrepreneurial
Mhm.
spirit there, going because you knew you wanted to own a business, and
Mhm.
if it's kind of when you think about entrepreneurship, there's there's with every success story there have been along the way hurdles, and sometimes
Yeah.
when you're doing that, was there a time that you could narrate for us when the shadow of, as it were, the shadow of failure was chasing you, and maybe your spirit was being pounded on, and you felt like throwing in the towel but didn't?
Ooh. Tracy, I literally just now. Listen, I'm kind of in the midst of coming out of that right now. You, you caught me right at it.
Oh, okay. So these are raw emotions right now.
Oh, today. 'Cause this has been a hard, hard year. And I just so I do these workshops. I do confidence building workshops. And where I take a group of women or people, because it's not just women, I've had a couple of guys before, and they go through this 10-week program. And it's a confidence building program, but it's also you're rehearsing for a show because I also produce a show. At the end of the program, you get to your graduation is to perform in that show in front of a big room full of strangers wearing lingerie.
Uh,
This this group this time challenged me. It broke me a couple of times,
wow.
but it wouldn't let me. It wouldn't let. I couldn't let go. I kept going. I kept going, and it was literally 5 months of what felt like. You ever you ever want to not do something or want to just sit still so bad that it literally hurts, but you have to keep going?
Yeah,
That's what it
yeah,
was.
absolutely.
That's what it was.
Uh,
But it's done. We made it. I had aged 10 years in the process, and I think I got my glow back. I'm getting in there right now,
uh,
Tracy. Right
right
now.
now, right now, right now. That is amazing
Right
too.
now.
Yeah, uh, the things that you're doing is really amazing. Uh, when you think about but you mentioned lingerie, and as part of that
Mhm,
confidence building, process, lingerie as an emotional expression, if you were,
mhm.
stepping out or stepping into the gallery of self love. Um, if
Yeah.
you were to step into that gallery, where Puff Mentionables, Puff Mistress Mentionables, were, let's say, uh, it was hanging as a masterpiece. Okay,
Hmm.
what emotions do you hope each design for each individual woman in that show, and we'll talk about the show in a minute. Uh, what
Hmm.
each design evokes in those who wear them.
If I had to think of words to describe each one,
Hmm.
or what I wanted them to emote from
Hmm.
from from it, if it was to hang,
Yes.
empathy is that is I I feel like when we have somewhere we have as a whole we have lost we're losing the ability to feel that for each other. And I think when we have empathy for each other, it it helps to uplift us personally, because a lot of us react and we live in pain and anger and all of those things, and then we have the inability to lend empathy to other people, and it just perpetuates it. And that is the that is one of the top words that I would say that I would want it to emote is empathy. Because it saddens me when I see how people treat each other. I have the inability to have to be malicious to people. That is something that my mom gave me. I don't have the inability. I cannot harbor anger. I cannot hurt another. I would sooner scratch my eyes out than to hurt another human being. I smile all the time, even when I'm in pain. I just, if you can just hold on to that and be able to exhibit that and be able to emote that, then that aids in your confidence building.
Hmm.
That one is a big one for me. I'm
Confidence,
sorry, I'm
confidence
emotional.
building. Yeah.
Don't
Oh,
make-
that's
I
okay.
might
Hey.
tear up.
Uh, well, and another thing
I'm the
I
biggest
noticed too.
crybaby.
Well, and another thing I noticed too in looking at some of your social posts and some of the images from your recent show that you put on, it's also a great deal of camaraderie.
I demand it. It is a requirement to be in my group. It is a requirement to be um, a part of the brand. It is a requirement, especially in my workshop. You have to be, and it's not something that can always come easily because for a lot of us are raised in toxicity, right? We're raised
Sure.
to be at each other. So I don't completely just dismiss people when they come and they have that energy because a lot of times it just takes reprogramming and sometimes it takes for you to love on them. They just haven't been loved on to see what that feels like um in order to be able to exhibit it to other people. So listen, I give a lot of speeches. My girls will tell you I give a lot of speeches. But so that you know what you're getting when you walk in. I'm trying to build a community of people that want to help each other, love each other, provide each other, because I believe, as naive as it might sound, that as much ugliness and negativity that we have out everywhere, it can be
Yeah.
combated with positivity. I believe that strongly. So that's my contribution. When you come, you got to come at least ready to take that process to not be that negative person or not, you got to be ready to be able to hug your sister. That you ain't got to like each other, but you can respect each other and you can still build together. That's it. Period.
That really is a beautiful sentiment. It really is. And you mentioned, with so much hate and toxicity out there, um, and not just within families, but within communities. Um, and
Hmm.
talking about the empathy portion that you mentioned earlier, you see the lack of empathy in some of the hateful
Hmm.
comments that you see online when some people
Hmm.
post pictures of themselves, selfies or what have you, whether it be just a innocuous selfie or
Hmm.
recently a lot of celebrities have taken to posting pictures without their makeup on, or you'll see
Hmm.
the paparazzi will get these compromising shots of someone on the beach in maybe some not so flattering attire, and
Hmm.
the some of the hateful comments are just in to me just unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't read it.
It,
I can't read it because it
it
makes me sad.
it's terrible. It's terrible. Uh,
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
when you talk about now, we'll dive in a little bit here on your threads of resilience. The in the tapestry, let's say, of your life, woven with the threads of motherhood, a diagnosis of lupus, body image
Mhm.
battles. What emotions stirred as you intricately uh, uh, wove these experiences into the fabric of resilience that now is Puff Mistress?
Ooh. Ooh. Um, I don't know if freedom is an emotion, but I'm gonna use it like it is. um,
Sure.
I have I have not always been the most confident person. I used to have what I call fake confidence. It's that because I wasn't confident, I would be overly, my personality would be extra big, so that the expressions that I would get was, "Ooh, Ebony outspoken, she whatever," and really I was just hiding the fact that I wasn't that confident. But I have always been a person that had my own kind of style. Like I wore whatever clothes I liked. It didn't matter what somebody else liked. So working for other people was excruciating. Like I always had this desire just to still do and be free. And you cannot, those are, working for myself. That's not an inner thing. That's the outward thing. You know what I mean? You cannot attain the outer thing unless you take care of the inner thing. None of those things are really going to be uh, attained, and you're not going to be able to enjoy them if you still have the inner battle. So I knew I had to address that. Um, so that kind of birthed it. Going through having lupus and um, deciding at some point I was 236 pounds, and then I got diagnosed with lupus, and I was taking steroids, and you know, I, my body was changing, and I was taking all these pills, and I was always in pain, and I realized that it's some things are mind over matter. Of course, some things are just health, but I realized that I couldn't live like that. I had to do something. I had to. You know what I mean? So I started eating better. I changed my diet completely. I took control, and I lost 70 pounds, and you know what I mean? And then my body got smaller, but then I had this excess skin, and you know what I mean? And it was still a battle that I had to fight. And I just had to decide to be okay with it. Either I'm about to pay to have all these surgeries, which I was not going to do, or I had to say, listen, this is my body. You know what I mean? This is it. I can't walk around in a prison that I create for myself because I allow other people to set a standard that's theirs, or whoever's is not mine. So I had to work on, these things. I don't like being unhappy, and I was unhappy. So I had to do what I had to do in order to make myself happy, in order to be free, because I
hmm
need to be free. I can't being confined is like I can't like
Yeah,
so
right.
it's freedom is the expression, and that's always been the expression for me. Freedom. I need to do what I want to do. I need to wear what I want to wear. I can't function in a box. So
Well, that's
that's
it,
me, freedom.
and it's very empowering. It really is. I you know recently interviewed Dr. Sarah Sohn, and we talked
Hmm.
quite a bit about body positivity, body dysmorphia, body
Hmm.
neutrality. And I had once done a podcast episode, I believe, back in season 3 about that. So we talked about that and her journey through, weight loss, weight gain, weight loss, weight gain, up and down. And she, her sentiment was very, very similar to that. That, hey,
Hmm.
this is my body. Be comfortable in the skin that I'm in.
I mean, exactly, because I mean, at the end of the day, you can't. If you change it to meet this definition, then somebody else is going to have a different one. Then you got to change it to meet that one. Then it's too many people. Too many people. You have to. You ain't never gonna
Yeah.
be happy if you living according to other people's standards. Because if you think about it, those people are living according to somebody else's standards, who living according to somebody else's standards, and ain't nobody happy.
Yeah. That's
You
right.
gotta you gotta set that tone for yourself. And also, I think it's so ridiculous. It really is insecurities amongst people, because I think it's so ridiculous for us to make each other feel bad for the naturally occurring things that happen to our body. It's
Sure.
it's so ridiculous. It's like calling
hmm
somebody old. Sir, ma'am, you're gonna get old too. Like, it's just,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, I
And you're right. You're right. But we talked
it's
about that same
so
exact
ridiculous.
thing. We talked about that. That's kind of been a running theme with not only all my a lot of my guests, but a lot of my friends. Heck, I'm 63 years old, so my friend circle
Hmm.
are there's a wide range of ages in there. And I was talking with Jim Alabiso and asking him. We were talking about several things on production and that kind of stuff. And he said, well, guys like you and me, it comes a time when we get aged out. When it comes to broadcasting and yeah. I said, brother, I ain't aging out, brother. And I mentioned I mentioned that to Sarah, and she said, oh no, no. You just like with any other, like you said, natural occurring things, that happen to your body. Certain things happen just because of your age.
Yeah. And it's ridiculous because what does that have to do? I always look at, I always think about, so that if you watch English TV shows and English
Yes.
movies, and you look at like if you look at our movies and shows, right? There was a time when there was a typical look that Hollywood had for what beauty was, right? So it was like in movies and stuff like that. When you look at the English shows and whatever, you could tell the differences. They care about acting. It doesn't like they have a variety of looks that is not the typical beauty look because it's more about acting. It's kind of like that. If I can act, I can see if you're going for a certain role. If I can sing, if I can host, what difference does it make how fucking I'm sorry, can you curse on here?
Yeah. This is not safe for work.
Okay. Listen, I was doing
we don't
so
care.
good. Listen, I was doing so good.
You made it 22 minutes in before you said fuck.
I gotta tell somebody, because I'm a cusser. I'm a cusser, Tracy.
Welcome to the club.
Yay, I'm so happy. I should have asked first, but I made it 22 minutes. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of myself. But what fucking difference does it make? You done told me I can curse now. We about to go crazy. What fucking difference does it make how old you are? What difference does it make what size you are? That shit don't matter. It only matters when it comes to other people's insecurity. They are insecure about themselves. And I teach my girls, don't let other people make you feel good, make you feel bad about you. All you have to do is decide to wake up and turn the volume down of their voices and turn yours up. That's it. That's it. It sounds so easy, but it's so hard for so many people because we're so programmed.
I know.
To be at each other. And I think I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I think the more that we have that type of thing, the more shit we buy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a society that make us feel bad about ourselves so we can keep buying shit. Don't do that. Just stop doing it. Just don't do it. That's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. And now that we've opened up the tone, you also host a show. Let's talk about it.
Yes, let's talk about it. Yes.
Well,
yes.
let's talk about it.
I cuss a lot on there.
I do know that.
Oh my God, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it is starting to be. I told the girls after we finished the show, the show. I'm sorry, it ain't been a week since the show been over, so I'm still recovering. After we finish with the show, I'm gonna dedicate 60% of my time to let's talk about it because I love it so much. It's just I wanted to have everything. So I'm rebranding. So I'm Puff Mistress Mentionables as the lingerie, but I'm rebranding to Puff Mistress Present, and that's just the confidence building brand and everything that will come underneath that. We just happen to own a lingerie store, so it's kind of that's the kind of rebranding I'm doing. The Puff. So everything that I do is about confidence building. So I wanted to and everything that comes with positivity and just that in general. So I wanted to create a show that was about, more about self work and more about, having the conversations that people are having, but having them from the perspective of, okay, what can I do different? You know what I mean? What can I say different, or what can I improve on so that my relationships with everybody else will improve? Or I might encourage somebody else to want to improve because my energy is different. Or you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I wanted to have the tough conversations and the funny or whatever conversations. And of course most people want to talk about relationships.
Yeah.
From that perspective. Because sometimes you might we'll talk about something that'll make people go, oh, I didn't think about it that way. You know what I mean? Because we're talking about it not from a you perspective, but just me and my co-host, we relate on this is what we do, and we show our vulnerabilities. Because as you know, if you look at any of my content, I show all of my vulnerabilities because that helps other people to be comfortable with knowing that it's okay. It's okay. So when you communication is more effective when we're not doing you need to do this, you need to do that, and we're talking more from a okay, this is what I did. Now let's talk about, you know what I mean, such and such and
Yeah.
such. So
Sure.
it's beautiful because me and my co-hosts have the best organic energy. We don't even prep. I shouldn't say this, but we don't even prep sometimes. We just show up like 20 minutes before we go on, and and the subject, I'll type up some notes real quick 20 minutes before, and we just go because our chemistry is just natural.
Hmm.
So yeah, I
Let's
love
give
that
a
part
quick
about it. I do
let's
so much.
let's give a quick shout out to your co-host.
Hey Ash, okay, Ash B is my co-host. That's my right hand. Ashley was actually with me when Puff Mistress Mentionables was born. We was in California, and I was like, I think I'm gonna start a lingerie company. She was like, what? I was like, word. She's like, okay, let's do it. I
So
love Ashley,
good.
but it's the funny thing is we've only known each other 3 years. That's it. But that's like, and she's 15 years younger than me. So it's just great.
Well,
I tell her all the time, you could be my daughter.
sometimes your best friends aren't necessarily the ones you grew up with.
Right, right, right. And you can learn from everybody.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
If I always tell people if they don't have somebody younger too to learn from, that's sad. Because I get a lot of energy from different people. You can learn from anybody, and you can share good energy from anybody. And sometimes, that person might be a little more mature, and you might be a little more immature, and it balances out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, my best friend and we've got like 20 years between us, uh, uh, age wise, Shelton,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
he and I have been, like best buds. Gosh, years going back. Our days at Folio and before. But
Hmm.
and there's like I say, there's a 20 at least 20-year age difference between us.
That's what I'm saying. You might not, I would have never thought I'd be hanging this tight with somebody that's young. But listen, I'm about to be 49 in 2 weeks, but I don't know what a 49-year-old supposed to be doing because people be like, "Oh, you look good for your age." I'm like, "Well, what am I supposed to look like? I just need y'all to show me that. Like, what am I supposed to look like?" Or or they expect you to dress a certain way for your age. Well, what does that look like? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
I don't
right.
like you want to say thank you, but I don't know what it means.
So, so you're talking about rebranding, more,
Hmm.
and continuing on with, your workshops and the positivity movement. I guess we could call
Hmm.
it that, a positivity movement, uh,
Yes.
and not just, yeah, and not just like we were saying, it's not just body positivity. It's just plain
Mm-mm.
positivity.
Yes. 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 And that's why I felt the need to rebrand because I do things. I have I'm two people, Tracy. Okay, I have split personalities, and I'm okay saying that out loud. Okay, and they are very different people. Okay, this one is very stringent. She's very organized. she's very operations, blah blah blah. This one is the creative one, and she want to do what the hell she want to do, and they be fighting. Okay.
That's
But when it's
okay.
time at the final hour, yeah, when it's time at the final hour, they comes together because they got to get it done, and they're not gonna embarrass me. Okay. So I just I I do things very organically, right? So things just kind of if something makes sense, I'm going to try it. I'm going to research it. I'm going to figure it out. And it's again, I don't like being in a box. And I felt like it was more than lingerie. I represent so much more than that. You know what I mean? And just my
Sure.
natural vibe and my natural energy. And I'm just like, oh, maybe I can help other people feel like this all the time. You know what I mean? And listen, I'm a Cheshire cat, okay? But I goes through it.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
But I
It's
goes
it.
through it.
Well, you get things done. I mean, it's like a dance. It's like an opera. You know, life. I've heard this said before. Somewhere, it's an old saying that life is like a dance. So uh,
Hmm.
with you, the dance of empathetic collaboration, if we will. We were talking about empathy.
Hmm.
Uh, if your journey
Hmm.
was a graceful dance, if your journey was a
Hmm.
graceful dance, like the old saying, life is a dance. What emotions would you attribute
Hmm.
to the choreography of empowerment uh, with artists, designers, influencers? The unique emotional rhythm.
Openness. And again, I know these not emotions, but it could be whatever I want.
Well, yeah, yeah, that's right.
But it's openness. You know what I mean? Because even I'm a creative, right? But even in me being a creative, I you know I had to learn that I was a very hold it to my chest creative. And it wasn't until I allowed, because of the relationships that I've garnered and the people that I've helped and the people that I've communed with and stuff like that, I have people all the time going, let me do this for you, let me do that for you. And I'm a very prideful person. And I'm a very, oh, only I can do it person. And I tend to stress myself out that way. So as of late, I've been allowing people to help me more. And that has literally like brought me to tears sometimes because I'm like, oh my God, I did not have to do this by myself. You know what I mean? And that because that comes with trust too. Trust and openness is what I would is the emotion I would attribute to that, to the whole. You have to be willing to let people give you, you have to be willing to learn from other people. You have to be willing to be okay with changing maybe how you communicate if it lends to a better relationship. You have to be willing to open to make changes within yourself if it's beneficial. You have to be open to the critique, not using critique in a negative way because we attribute critique as a negative thing. You have to be open to that. It's openness. Period. And that is the core to me of being
Yeah,
empowered.
that's
Openness.
it really is open. Yeah, I mean, you can't have collaboration,
Hmm.
you can't have communication, you can't have intimacy without openness.
Mm-mm. Yep. Yep.
That's
That's the
absolutely
word.
true.
That is the word. Yeah.
Well, we've had a delightful conversation. I tell you, I've got one last question for you, Ebony, uh, before we uh,
Ooh.
before we go. Uh, uh,
Ooh.
we talked a lot about emotions here. We talked about empathy, openness, uh, collaboration. Your the future's emotional palette for you, uh, as the future is looming for your next chapter, the Puff
Hmm.
Mistress. What were you calling Puff Mistress
Mistress present.
presents? Puff Mistress presents
Hmm.
as the future
Mm-hmm.
weaves the next chapter for that new journey for you. What again? What emotions do you feel as you guide not only us but your other friends, fans, and followers through the chambers, representing your mission to redefine, uh, you know, whether it be beauty standards or shedding toxicity, that more positive outlook on life.
The biggest emotion for me would be grace. Grace is because I am amazing at making other people or helping other people to look at themselves differently. It is literally easy for me, and it's blowing my mind because I did not set out to do this, but it's easy to me. The problem that I have is I can teach other people that, but I'm horrible with myself. I don't give myself grace, and I'm very hard on myself, and I don't I don't it's hard for me. It's easy for me to accept the things that I have to work hard for. It's less easy for me to accept the things that I'm naturally gifted at. And I know that sounds weird as fuck. But
Not really. No,
no, okay, good.
no.
Okay, good. Because I know I'm a little weird, but yeah, because I had to think about what it was. It was. I, Tracy, I just did a show. I have never been a choreographer ever in my life. I have never written plays before. I've written scripts before. I have never produced shows before. Nothing. And I am literally doing it. It's not easy. Okay, let me change that. It ain't easy. But I'm
Yeah.
literally choreographing 2.5 hour shows. They have dance routines. I had 21 women. I had them doing dance routines. It was a whole play. I wrote a whole script, and I wrote it in like 15 minutes. It was I just these things are happening naturally. And right after every show I go through a depression instantly. Like right after. And I couldn't put my finger on it. And it's just me not believing that it's me doing it. You know, I have imposter syndrome so bad. So, in order for me, and I think I just took these hard lessons this time because I think the creator, the universe, or whatever you want to call them, needed for me to learn this lesson because I'm going to take my brand national. And I can't do that if I cannot accept at least the greatness that I am. I'm going to say it like that.
There you go.
If I cannot stand in my own greatness, then I'm not going to be able to go where I need to go. So grace is the grace and discernment because I'm too nice. Let me get that discernment too because I'm way too nice. But grace and discernment is what I need and the things that I need to go forward. And I'm working on it.
That that's beautiful. You certainly are graceful.
Well, thank you. Trying.
Had a wonderful conversation with you, Ebonee. We'll be providing
Me
all the
too.
links to your. I'll have all the links available for everyone when we broadcast this episode, uh, and all the
Hmm.
descriptions on the blog and on the YouTube channel and on our streaming platforms. They'll all be able to click on those links and go see what she's up to.
Okay, awesome.
Stick
Thank you
around for
so
just a
much. I
second.
enjoyed this so much.
Oh, it was my honor.
Oh, well.
Well, that's a wrap. Another fantastic episode of the podcast. You can find us on all the social media platforms, wherever you surf: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter X, Threads, wherever. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. And on our YouTube channel, don't forget to like, share, comment, and smash that subscribe button. If you're streaming audio for the podcast, you can find us wherever you get your favorite podcast programs. In the meantime, I like to tell everybody, take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time. Peace.